Welcome to Manotick StringWorks. Please remember to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for more video content. Well, so here we are back at Manotick StringWorks, and on the workbench today we have this Telecaster right here. So, pretty good looking Telecaster. Good from far, far from good. We shall see, right? So this was brought over to my shop last week. And the owner just wants me to have a look at it, look at the setup, and there are a couple of little problems. But first of all, I guess the question is this a Fender USA Telecaster or is it a Chinese knockoff? So let's have a closer look. So first off, we'll have a look at the body, and we see this cherry sort of finish. And I think you can see that we've got multiple pieces of wood here underneath that. So you wouldn't really see that on a Fender American. Maybe two pieces at the most. You do have this nice maple sandwich though. So very reminiscent of a rosewood Telecaster. Again, this is not rosewood. This is maybe maple. Could be beech. Come into the bridge. Well, this is a pretty stock looking bridge. Doesn't have Fender embossed in there. And these saddles are very slim. Usually a Fender saddles will be, bigger diameter than that. And I don't like the length of these screws too. That looks kind of silly. 3-position switch. Volume, tone, these feel pretty good. 3-ply pickguard. Let's move up the neck. So we have some sort of, I don't know if it's ebony, it's a dark wood. It's pretty dry. And the frets aren't horrible. A little bit of fret sprout as we go along. Those could use some dressing. Of course, it's winter. And the edge bevels aren't bad either, pretty consistent. Let's move up here. We have Fender Made in USA Telecaster Headstock. Let's flip it over. So here's the back of the headstock, and there is a serial number, US 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 number serial number. And yeah, these tuners are definitely not Fender tuners. And that's not a skunk stripe, that's just the finish. You can see they taped it off so it's the natural wood underneath and just finished around it. You can see the bleeding around the edges. And here's the neck plate. Fender Corona. Sorry, the light's getting in the way there. Give that a wipe. Alright, Fender Corona. There we go. California now. Biggest giveaway, of course, is Fender would never have a plastic sleeve, grommet or whatever you want to call that, under that plate. So, yeah. String through ferrules. And then you can see the body grain here. I think this is like beech. This is not even maple. And I think we'll have a quick look at this serial number on the Fender serial number finder online. And I'll see what we find. Well, after plugging in the serial number in the Fender search engine, it comes up as a totally different guitar. A limited edition lightweight ash American Professional Telecaster from 2019. Surprise, surprise. Well, as we've seen, this is not a real American Fender, even though it says so here, made in the USA, and has a US serial number. The serial number corresponds to a totally different style of Telecaster. Now, the owner never said that this was a real US Fender. He told me it was a Chinese replica. But I think it's fun just to point out all the differences. And I'm sure there's a few more. Please leave your comments below. Let me know what you see as well, or have encountered in the past. And I'm sure if we open up the bridge plate here, the control plate here, we would find that, you know, the pots wouldn't be CTS pots or American pots, etc., and the switch as well. The thing I didn't show you earlier too was the output jack. I mean, that's not a Telecaster output jack by any means. But regardless, it's a new guitar. It was bought from China, and the owner wants me to have a look at it and see what, you know, if it's in good playing shape and what we can do with it. Maybe modify it, change some things later on as well. Alright, so when I'm checking out a guitar, you know, I like to start with the electronics. Seems like a good place as any. See if we have any noise coming out of it, right? So here in the neck position, yeah, that's working. The output seemed to drop quite a bit there. Okay. So the wiring seems okay. That's full volume. There's the tone. Turn that tone off. There's quite a drop when I go to the middle position. I think I'll check the output level. Alright, so when you want to check the output level or the resistance of the pickups, I've done this before in previous videos. I'm going to plug in, and we're going to attach our multimeter, so the hot goes to the tip and the ground goes to the barrel or shaft of a plug output jack, just like that. Put that down, and then you'll see we'll start to get some resistance in ohms. So you put your multimeter on ohms. So we're at 2.89, so that's the middle. So let's go to the neck, 6.15. So the shared, the middle position, 2.89, and then the bridge is 5.34. So, you know, the outputs are okay, I guess. You know, around 6 ohms seems to be standard, you know, for a bridge and a neck and a bridge. And then in between, I just found it dropped off quite a bit, it felt like, when we went into that middle position. But anyways, it is what it is. Pickups can be changed, of course, so these can be swapped out for some, you know, nice Fender ones. You know, why not? Alright, I'm just going to check a few things, the setup that it came in. So at the, with a Fender Telecaster at the 17th fret, I like to see 464, so I'll use my gauge here. And just by pressing down, yeah, we seem to be a little higher than 464s. And if I try 564s, yeah, it's passing under. So we're set up higher than I would like. And try 6 here. Yeah, well, 6 doesn't really go under, so except for here, look at that, the A string. A string's high. So that could just be a poor setup, or they're masking an issue, something to do with the frets, right? That there's fret noise, fret buzzing. But we'll see as we go along. Alright, well, let's check, see what the intonation's like. It's pretty good. be a little sharp. All in all, so far, let me get that tuned a little better. Pretty good. Keep in mind, these are the crappy strings they put on it. Yeah, these are always sharp. Everyone seems to be afraid to pull those back more, but of course we have a shared saddle here, so you pull back on the E, well, you're going to affect the A string as well. So all in all, the intonation isn't too bad, actually. So now we'll check the action at the first fret here. So if you push down on the third fret, and on the third fret and press down, so that seems okay, acceptable just at the touch test. But I like to see 20 thousandths at the first fret. That slides under, just rattling a bit. Okay. I can't get under the B string to lift that up. There we go. Okay, so we're probably looking at about 20 thousandths, which is very acceptable. I mean, 18 would be nice. Yeah, I still can't get under the B string, which is way too low. Lift that up. Okay, I want to have a look at the nut, because I think we might have an issue with that. Okay, we're going to have a closer look at the nut, because this is pretty bad. Have a look here. It looks like there's plastic shim under the nut here on the bass side. If I come around to the front a bit, look at how high it is on the bass side compared to the treble side. And remember, we had an issue with the B string being very low. So this nut looks like either they cut the nut not high enough or the slot too deep, and they put a plastic shim. Let's have a look on the treble side. Okay, well, I flipped the guitar around on the bench, but yeah, have a look at that. That's pretty bad. Wow. That's crazy glue or super glue sort of hanging out here all over. Might even be a crack through the fingerboard. So that's probably one of the worst nuts I've seen on a guitar in my shop. That's terrible. I think we definitely need to look at replacing that. Wow. Okay. Alright, last thing to check is the neck relief and see if the truss rod works at all. So capo on the first fret, and I like to see at the 7th fret about 10 or 12 thousandths. So let's start at 10 thousandths of an inch. Press down where the neck meets the body, 19th fret or so. I think you can hear that. Yeah, so that's definitely scraping under there. I have an 8 thousandths feeler gauge here, just for the hell of it. Yeah, so there's not much neck relief at all. So I'm hoping, and I checked already, I'm just going to use my 4mm hex wrench. I've got a few different styles, of course. Right. So here's a long one. Here's a T-handle one with a ball end. I've got another homemade one, a little shorter. What else? Any more? I think that's it. Of course, I've got this little one here that I made too. So I think this one will fit. Yeah, so we want to loosen it. So we want to go lefty-loosey. We want to turn counterclockwise. It's tightening. I can feel it tighten when I go that way, so it gives me hope. But I can't get there, so I need to relax the G string. Okay, I've got the strings out of the way. Let's see, lefty-loosey. That's sort of the midway point. There's no resistance. Now I can feel the resistance. So this is a two-way truss rod, which is a good thing. Oh, I just heard it. Okay, I'll give it one more little turn. There we go. Okay, let's get this back up to pitch and try it out again. Okay, got the capo back on, using 10/1000 feeler gauge. Just scraping a little bit, but it did move, so that's a good sign. So the truss rod, it's a two-way truss rod, it is working. Good news. Alright, so what do I think of this guitar? Well, it's definitely not an American Fender. It's a Chinese replica or fake, whatever you want to call it. You know, overall the body is nice. You know, the neck seems okay. Truss rod works. The electronics are working. You know, pickups can always be changed. Pots can always be changed. Switches. The bridge is a little, it's pretty thick metal, but you know, even like a Wilkinson bridge here, which is perfect fit actually. 4-hole bridge. Brass saddles. You can see that these saddles are thicker diameter. They also have their compensated saddles, so that helps with the sharing of the strings, right, when you're doing intonation. So I mean, even a Wilkinson bridge here, and I got this one off Music Lily on Amazon. It's just been in my drawer here, but even that would be probably a better bridge than the one that's on there. And definitely that nut needs to be replaced. So again, off Music Lily on Amazon, I got these. These are bone Telecaster nuts. So might use these to replace the nut that's in there, and I'm not sure what'll have to be done. Might have to shim anyways because they've routed the slot too deeply, but I'll talk to the owner and see what he wants to do with it. But you know, it's pretty enough. I like the maple wood sandwich here. You know, it sort of has a Rosewood Telecaster vibe to it. But it's a pretty guitar. Definitely not an American made Fender, but a few little upgrades and this might play really nicely. Alright, so stay tuned. We might have a part 2 for this one. Alright, bye for now.